Welcome to Meeples on Meeples, episode 43. I'm Andrew.
Ian.
Patrick.
And Brian.
First off, I'd like to have you come and check us out at meeplesandmeeples.com. Also check out our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Come subscribe. We also have a Flickr where you can see component shots, all that good stuff. And I'll let Pat take it away with The Resistance. Is that what we played?
That's
I don't remember.
The game of the week for this week is The Resistance, and the components that you see out here that we'll get to in a second is actually also includes the expansion called The Plot Thickens. Now, The Resistance is based on a theme in which you're in the future dystopia, and there are corporate governments that are ruling over everybody, and you're part of the resistance trying to overthrow the government. And so you've gotten together to run several missions to try to bring down the big corporations. Unfortunately, amongst you are some spies trying to upset your mission. The game plays in several rounds. To be exact, there's 5 missions that you have to go on. At the beginning of each mission, there is a leader who chooses to start that mission. The leader card gets set out, and everyone else is dealt a character card. Depending on how many players you have so many resistance fighters, which are technically the good guys, and a smaller group of spies that are trying to change the mission and trying to interrupt the mission. You look at these privately so no other player knows what you are. At the beginning of the game, everyone closes their eyes. The 2 spies are allowed to open their eyes, identify each other. They close their eyes. And then everyone opens up their eyes, and the game begins.
Now keep in mind, depending on how many players, you might have 2 spies, 3 spies, or 4 spies, depending on how big the party is. But.
And at the beginning of the game, everybody receives 2 cards to vote on if the mission is even going to be able to get off the ground. We'll explain that here in a second. And 2 cards to vote whether the mission is successful or not. The leader picks several members of their party to choose to go on the first mission. And there's several ways to do it. If the leader happens to be a spy, he can choose himself and another person, or you can just pick people out randomly for the first mission. Each mission has a certain number of people that will go on it to try to make it successful or non-successful. Once the leader chooses who's going to be on the team, the entire group votes on whether they think that's a smart team or a not smart team to go on that mission. If you think one of the spies were selected to go on the mission, you're going to choose for the mission not to go. If you feel that everything is okay to go on the mission, or if you're a spy and you know one of your members is going on the mission to sabotage it, you will probably vote it to be a go. You just need a majority. If the majority votes for it to go, you go on to see if the mission is successful or not. If the majority votes for it not to go, the mission attempt fails the first time, the leader changes to a new person, and you try to set up that mission a second time with a new group, or the new leader gets to choose a new group. Once the mission is a go, the people who go on the mission get 2 cards, and they will choose to either make it a successful mission or they will sabotage it. 1 sabotage marker means that the mission failed.
If you are a quote-unquote good guy, you have to play the good card. Obviously, you wouldn't want to fail a mission anyway, but you have to play that. The spy can choose to play a fail
or a success
to throw people off and hide themselves.
Perfect. Now, the game ends when the resistance, the good guys, have 3 missions that are successful. The spies win in one of 2 ways. 3 missions that fail, or if one of the missions goes around 5 times and nobody votes, there's not enough votes to go on the mission itself, and the spies will win. At the end of the voting, the leader goes to the next person, and the new round begins.
Now, I have a question because we never ran into this. If that just happens one time, 5 votes. The
whole
game is over. The entire
game's over.
The spies once. Oh,
yeah. If the spies,
I thought that just counted as a win marker on the board.
If the spies can get 1 mission where nobody votes at all, there's so much doubt.
I thought the same as Brian.
Yeah, we never came close to that. So.
No, and that's why it didn't come up, and we never got too close to that point to activate that.
But that would have been good to know.
I said it.
As a spy, listen, I could have won the game.
As usual,
I win.
As usual in the explanation,
I win.
Exactly. We also have the expansion, which is at the beginning of each mission, the leader gets to draw one of these cards and hand it out to somebody. It kind of changes the flavor. You can look at somebody else's card. You can't show it to anyone else.
It's like a special ability.
Special ability, and you can play the blame game. This really runs high on suspicion and finger pointing and paranoia. The whole idea is if you're the spies, fail 3 missions. If you're the good guys, win 3 missions and work against each other.
And I think that brings us into strategy. Components. Sorry.
I'll start with components. It's just cards, cardboard bits, and some wooden tokens. The cards themselves have actually pretty good art for what they give you. I mean, considering they don't have to have artwork like that, they could just give you your symbol.
Artwork doesn't matter. It's good, but it doesn't matter.
That's what I commented on, was the player cards that you only look at and you go, oh, okay. And then you don't look at it again for the rest of the game. It has pretty darn good pictures on it for what you use the card for.
And even the plot thickening cards have pretty decent artwork.
Oh,
I mean, they for not needing it, they actually put a lot of detail into it.
The quality is very sturdy, thick
Plastic
card.
cards.
I mean, they're very nice. They will hold up.
Do you want interlocking pieces?
But just like, you
We'll
you
get to
rip
that.
them in half.
Okay.
I'm not gonna rip
And even the player board is obviously, the play board or the score marker obviously is not that large, but it also has all the information you need on it. How many players you have, it tells you how many spies to set up. How many players you have, depending on the round, it tells you how many
People go on
each mission.
Well, we play with 5, and you can play up to 10. That's just crazy.
I can't imagine. I think 10 would be so paranoid.
There'd be a lot of arguing
I don't know.
and talking over and fighting.
It would be hard to do.
Is this the rules?
That's no. The rules are
Off the table
This is the
somewhere.
rules for the plot thickenings. That's the rules for the expansion.
Oh, okay. Well, it's nicely kind of laminated. It's glossy. It's nice paper.
So that's about all for the components.
And the box is ridiculously tiny.
Yeah.
Super portable. I mean, being as it plays up to 10 and it can be a party game, this is perfect for taking with you on the go.
Oh, definitely. Should we move into strategy? Because that's really where this game lands.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I mean,
Did anyone really have a good strategy? I mean, it was finger pointing until somebody
It's
cried.
a good poker face. It's being able to play your fellow players against each other, especially if you're the spy. You got to win people over.
Keeping track of votes is
I got
important.
to win, I would say, 75% of the games we played, and we played like 6 games tonight. 7
It was
maybe.
fast, yeah.
And I was the spy almost every time. I think one time we played I wasn't, and I actually lost that game.
It's since the spies only have to disrupt with 1 vote, it is kind of slanted out that way. The rebels really have to keep track of who's not acting like they usually do in the other games, pinpointing they're butting up too fast, and also just paying attention to the vote counts and using the plot thickens cards wisely.
And if your spy strategy is be careful when you play your fail. Sometimes it pays, because they have to win 3. So sometimes it pays to not fail a mission, to actually play that, hey, look, I'm a good guy because I was on that mission and they got 3 yes votes, so clearly I'm not a spy. And then people will trust you and they'll play, and then the next time you can play a fail and be like, it wasn't me, I just passed 2 missions or something like that. So you have to play it smart and dual roles.
It works really well if you have 2 people that can kind of read each other without saying anything to each other, like the 2 spies. And we played it a few times. We had people thoroughly convinced that somebody was a spy, and they weren't. We both knew that they weren't, but we had another player just like, I know that's a spy. I know it. Like, no question whatsoever.
The last game, Adam and I totally played you guys, and we
figured
purposely
out.
passed a couple, so we got to the 5th mission, but we knew we had it in the bag because too many people were confused and didn't know who the spy was, and they had to send 3 people, and one of us was going to be it, and it was pretty awesome. I mean, it worked out perfect.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a likes and dislikes.
There's not a whole lot I don't like about it.
One thing I don't like, and it changes when you play with larger groups, is on the first round you only send 2 people, and with a group of 5, when you send 2 people, even if you are the spy, when you get to those 2 people missions, most likely they're going to pass, because then it's too fast to narrow one of those 2 individuals down.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I think that we were playing it conservatively safe that way.
If you're a good liar, it could be fun to fail the first mission.
I think it'd be easier
and
to
point fingers and be like, no, it was
If you
him.
could throw him for a loop right away.
I think it'd be easier to do that on a larger group. I think with the group of 5, having that 2 in there, especially as the first mission.
Yeah, if you
Okay,
could
so I have
identify.
a question. Since I was a spy majority of the time, and it just kind of started to fall into that I was a spy.
We just stopped assigning you that first mission because we figured you're going to be the spy.
Right. That kind of falls into that. But other than that, who really suspected that I was a spy every time? After a while, Brian's like, I'm almost positive that he's not a spy.
Yeah, like how many times can you get that card in a row, really?
Right. It was
Luck
like
of the draw.
4 games in a row. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, failing the first mission, it didn't happen. I mean, we never really
We
did
tried
it,
but the spies lost
when
every
there's
time
only
it happened.
when there's only 2 spies, if you try to fail the first mission, you're really making it easy for them to narrow it down who the spies are. If there were 3 or 4 spies, if it was a bigger game, then who cares if they figure out one of you? There's still 3 other spies in the group.
Since
but when
there's
there's
2.
only 2, like we were doing, you probably do want to play it safe.
So it's almost like that first mission, even that third mission, which is only 2. You really, unless people have picked you out as a spy, you might as well just play it out that way and protect the one who's unknown. But it was almost it's just too easy. And whenever we did try to play people against each other, that first one, the resistance won.
I like the game length. We had games going over from 4 minutes. Literally, we figured out who the spies were right away, and it was win-win-win. Up to, what do you think a long game was, about 30?
Yeah, 30 I would
Now,
say
granted,
is
this
top.
with a 5, with a smaller party. If you
Mhm.
played with 10, that could definitely get dragged down a little bit too much.
Easy.
I do enjoy. What's this deck called?
This is the Plot Thickens expansion.
Oh, where do they get the special abilities?
Throwing the wild cards in there was really, it actually added a good flavor to the game.
Yeah,
so.
it was good. Also, make sure that you deal out the right numbers of.
No, we did that on purpose. He will have to go to the bathroom, and so we were like, let's make everybody a spy except for Pat. And he's trying to figure out, he's like, how did that get 2 fails? Because that other one had somebody screwed up playing their cards, and he was. We just did a mind mess with him, and it was hilarious. But
Yeah, it kind of blew me out. It was.
I don't think you could accidentally play them right if you pay attention.
No, I
No.
did that one round right. Dealt out 3.
There was
we all
that one
opened our
time that we
eyes.
had a mix-up on
Card thread.
these cards. And
That's true.
The no go
Yeah,
no
the no-go and the go, and then that actually let the spies win just because we got everybody so confused at that point. We knew that we had it in the bag.
Yeah.
So-
that'd be kind of a nice thing to have, actually, like some sort of other placement that actually gives you 2 areas.
Yeah,
'Cause we were
the real vote, the fake vote, place for each card.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Panic Station comes with a little board. I think you comment on that. It
Yeah.
should be like that, so nobody can be like, wait, which power are you pointing to? Which
just,
one's which?
just another one of these things so that you could put your vote and no vote cards on.
You know, honestly, if they'd made this slightly bigger, they could have just put it at the
Yeah,
bottom of
yeah.
this one.
Or you could just
And
put.
then you'd
I
make
put
it
another
fold.
one in. Yeah, put it and folded it, and that.
Oh, it could have been a foldable piece too, where it could actually
Just
just
keep it in
been
the
a
box.
piece that pops
Yeah.
out. Yeah, sure.
Should we get to the reviews, or do we?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, scale 1 to 10, Andrew.
I'm gonna go with an 8. It plays awesome. It's super fun. I had a blast, even though I was a spy like 90% of the time. Which it's not. It's fun. I like trying to fool people, things like that. The artwork is really good. I didn't have any issues with any rules because it's very simple, and it's just one of those cutthroat games where you never know. Like, there were some points where I was almost like, I know who the spy is, but the other players are starting to confuse me. Like, wait a minute. Like, they're starting to make me believe that this is not happening and the other person is not the spy with me. It was just, I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a good solid 8.
Me, I'm going to go with a 9. This game pretty much, there's just no way, it was just great fun all the way through to the end, and even losses were just, it was hilarious and fun. What made it, getting a bigger group can be a bit confusing for people, and I don't think it's at that 10 level where it's all the way through. It's just going to be great. I think if you get a huge group in there at the 10 level, you're just not going to know up from down, and it just,
I can't imagine a 10 pro going for
Exactly. I think 5 is really a good number for this game, and I think they should just left it at that. And again, trying to stack and figure out which stacks or piles of people voting on what, it gets a little bit kind of hairy there. But other than that, it was a great game all the way through for the most part. Except for Andrew, I didn't like Andrew.
That's every day.
It's because I'm a good liar. What can I say?
Gosh, I'm between 2. I'm not gonna give a 0.5 because that's kind of a crappy thing to do. Just calling you out.
Do a 0.75 then.
0.75. Okay.
I'm okay with a 0.75.
I'm gonna
Just
give
don't do
this
0.5.
Gosh, I'm gonna be the lone one here. I'm gonna give it a 7. It's a great game. It's a fun game.
You're wrong.
I feel like it's great. The problem with it is it gets repetitive after a while. We played it back to back to back, and it was getting pretty repetitive. I know there's finger pointing. I would like this actually in a little bit larger group, so it wasn't so fast, especially with these 2 rounds right here being only 2. Larger groups, you get more people going on those. It'd be a little bit harder to identify the spies. With 5 people, it got pretty repetitive. There's so many people, so many groups. There's a limited option, but it does get repetitive. It's always the same process over and over again. You're always good guy or bad guy, voting on who's going, who's not, and who's the spy, who's not, and it doesn't change.
Yeah. So you're saying that you want like a middle ground guy, like a neutral
No,
guy?
that would be interesting. No, but I'm just saying, just because of how this game is set up, it's kind of like the old werewolf game. It's always the same thing over and over again, and it's great. It's fun with a large group, but after a while, it's always the same steps, same process.
So what you're
same
saying
outcome.
is it's always the same thing.
It always is.
Okay.
It always is.
I do like the going down to just a 50-50 shot, because it would be so convoluted if every mission was like a 3 people going on a thing. You really wouldn't get a sense of who it is, especially only 5 rounds. So I like that the fact that they just went 50-50 shot, and you got at least 2 people to point fingers
My
at.
biggest thing of this thing goes, there's no alteration thing. It's always going to be the same steps, same outcome, same. I mean, that's the same outcome. But
I'm not a spy every single time. You are.
I know, but it's still the same.
I'm always a good guy, just about.
Yeah,
There's only one game where I got to
But what I'm saying is, it's always the same routine, play after play after play.
That's the game, though.
Check it out.
And that's
I
what I'm
tried to
saying.
put a
That's what I'm
comment
saying.
at the bottom of
That's-
how many times he said same.
and exactly what I'm
Somebody
saying.
count. Somebody
Drink. But that's my problem with it.
I'm gonna jump in now, so
similar.
this is getting long. For such a small card game, I'm gonna give
like
it
a
a
review.
9.
Wow.
I'm with Ian.
I
It's an excellent game.
Doctor.
We played like 6 or doctor. We played 6 or 7 games in a row and never got bored. Every game, I like it when a game ends and you're still talking about it afterwards.
Mhm.
I mean, isn't that kind of the point of this? It's like the experience, and we actually did something together, and there's finger pointing, and there's laughing, and there's like, I can't believe you lied to my face, you jerk, and you fooled me, and all that. And when you're still talking about a game after it ends, that's when you know you've got like a real experience.
think the loudest
And
you've
this does
ever
this.
yelled was actually in this game. Like,
What? It was
You screwed with my brain.
It was a
either
great game.
way, but I mean, just it got a huge rise out of you.
It was,
You're
but
usually-
but the thing is, towards the end, if you notice, I was just getting it's this. It was just the same experience over and over for me.
I would also agree with Pat, and I would like to play it with a bigger group. I think 5 is the minimum. I know you say 5 is the perfect number. That one game, literally 4 minutes, because we figure out right away, we know who the spies are. Win. I don't know, 10. I haven't played with 10, so I can't say. I think that might be a bit much. I'm thinking 7 might be the sweet spot. I'm just guessing off the top of my head. Just a couple more players.
Wrong. 7.5.
7.5 people. So
Sure, people.
I think it'd be a great party game. But it's awesome. It's a 9. I'd play it again and again.
Well, there you have it. There's the Resistance, and tune in next time. We'll review another game. Thanks for watching.